What's going on, guys? My name's Corrupt, and today I have for you my ultimate Lavaloon attack strategy guide for Town Hall 11. This is everything that you guys need to know about the Lavaloon attack strategy before you start using it at Town Hall 11. Now, we're going to be talking about first how you guys can deploy your Lavaloon, how you guys can use it at Town Hall 11 before we jump into the 3 attacks that we have for you guys, which is going to be the Suihiro Lavaloon attack strategy, the Electron Attack Strategy, and the Queen Charge Lavaloon attack strategy. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about is how you guys can do your Lavaloon portion, and we're going to be first talking about exactly how many number of loons that you're going to need in order to take out a specific defense. So on the screen, you're going to see the exact number of loons that you're going to need in order to one-shot a specific defense. All of them on this chart that you'll see is all simultaneous drops from loons. So you want to make sure that you send in more than what it says here. Usually that's a good idea, especially since you're not just going to be hitting that one building and then the loon's going to die. You want to try and take out as much of the defenses, especially when you're sending in your Lavaloon portion. You have the Hound tanking for you, and then the loons are going to go ahead and clean up the defenses behind the Lava Hound. So you really want to make sure that you guys understand that when you guys are using this strategy. And mainly, when you guys are sending in your Lavaloon portion, you're going to be starting with the Stone Slammer. Usually, more often than not, you're going to be starting with your Stone Slammer. If you don't have any Town Hall 12s in your clan, then you may want to use a Lava Hound Loon CC. Usually, this is really good in terms of sending it in first along with a small group. But again, usually you should have some Town Hall 12s in your clan if you are at Town Hall 11, and you should have a Town Hall 12 in there to be able to donate you Stone Slammers. But usually you're going to be using that Stone Slammer going in first, and then you want to go ahead and then send in your first Lava Hound and your first 2 groups of loons. Make sure that you take a look at the defenses and see which defenses are they and how many loons that you're going to be placing on each of them, and then start sending in the rest of your Lavaloon. Just remember that you don't need a haste for every single group. You just need the haste for a few of them as they move in. Some of them are not going to get hit, let's say by an Inferno, and it's already being tanked for by a few loons and a Hound. Well, then you can already send them in without using a haste. You want to try and be conservative with your haste spells so that then they can move in through the base and you can use them inside the base rather than keeping them on the outside. Sometimes you can also even pre-place your hastes, but usually you want to place them in before you actually place in your lava or your loons and even your Lava Hounds if you dig that. But other than that, that is really how you guys can do your Lavaloon portion. Just remember that you want to bring heal spells sometimes to heal up the loons. One heal spell can really offer great value for the attack, especially since it will heal all the loons back or close to at least full health, if not up to full health. So you just really want to make sure that you guys really understand that when you guys are using the Lavaloon strategy, whatever Lavaloon attack strategy it is. And the other thing is using the Grand Warden's ability only when absolutely necessary. When you see that there is a heavy amount of splash, especially like an Eagle Artillery locking onto your group of loons, then you want to make sure that you pop the Grand Warden's ability when that first hit drops. So you really want to make sure that you protect as many loons as possible as you go through the base with the Lavaloon portion. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the first strategy that we have for you guys, which is the Suihiro Lavaloon Attack Strategy. The Suihiro Lavaloon Attack Strategy is something brand new in the current meta of the game, and is definitely something that you guys should try out in the current meta. Usually with this attack, you're just using the King and Queen to try and get as much value as possible. Sometimes you could bring some wizards to funnel them into their correct area. However, usually you want to try and get as much value as you can from the outside of the base with just the Queen and the King. Usually you're looking for small bits of value in terms of the defenses, such as Archer Towers, Teslas, Wizard Towers, and anything else that's on the outside, such as stuff like air defenses. Usually the Expos will not be walkable, but if they are, you guys can walk and get those. And if you see that you can pick off an eagle from the outside, so that then it's a good idea to also bring that if you can. Again, it's not really necessary, but it's definitely something to keep in mind when you guys are using the Suihiro Lavaloon Attack. Now, once you've gotten a good amount of value, it would then be time to start your Lavaloon portion. Now, you want to try and start off by sending in your Slammer first, but sometimes you could also send in your Hound and your Loons, your first two groups, to start going in. Again, just remember that table that I mentioned earlier, that the number of Loons, again, you want to try and bring a good group of them as you start to move in. And the other thing is using the Rage spell over the Lava Hound and Loons, but trying to get that Rage under the Queen so that then these skeletons from the Skelly spell are able to swarm the Queen and take her out. Those shielded skeletons do take more than one shot to kill, so that's something to really keep in mind when you guys are using this attack. But then the other thing is you want to use your Grand Warden's ability, especially when necessary, since sometimes you may not be able to get to that eagle until the very end of the attack. You want to make sure that you really make sure that you use that Grand Warden's ability to keep all of those Loons alive. Also, another thing to keep in mind is using that heal spell to heal up the Loons on a multi-inferno or on any other splash, or really when they need it the most. When you see that those Loons are low on health, heal them up so that then they can push through the back end of the base. Usually using that heal spell on the back end of the base is better than using it right at the beginning of the attack, but sometimes you may be forced to do so, which is not a bad option, but definitely it's up to you and in terms of what you see. The other thing is that you, in order to deal with the CC, sometimes you may see a Lavaloon CC or a damage CC. As the tanks are going in, you want to use the poison spell when you know that either the dragon or baby dragon are actually being distracted by that tank. So it's definitely something to keep in mind when you guys are using this strategy realistically. So definitely something to keep in mind. Just remember that you want to wait until the Queen is in the right compartment and is not going to jump into another one when you drop the Skelly spells. That will just really cost you the Queen kill, and you really want to make sure that you guys can kill that enemy Queen so that then the Skelly, or really the Skellies, will swarm her, kill her, and you guys can have an easy time going through the rest of the base. Just remember that you will have to fight an air sweeper with this one. Now with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the next one that we have, which is going to be Electron. The Electron Attack Strategy is nothing new in the current meta and is definitely something that you guys can still try out, especially since you guys can use it in two different ways. Either the Electron with cloned Loons, or a Yolo Trung with cloned Electro Dragons. Again, it's up to you and exactly what the value is that you're looking for. Sometimes you may want to use the Electro Dragons going in along with a cloned Electro Dragon, but sometimes you may want to just bring cloned Loons with you. Now, sometimes you may not be able to clone that Loon, which is completely fine. But usually what you want to try and do is, even if you don't get the Loon, you still want to try and get that Queen. Usually the Queen is going to be the main focal point along with the CC, and then just getting any other air targeting value from the Electro Dragons hitting all of those defenses on the inside. Now, even if you don't get any air defenses, that's fine, because you can still use the Suihiro to get some sort of air defenses. Usually you're going to use the King and the Queen, or even King, Queen, and Ice Golem going in. Again, it's up to you, but sometimes that is entirely necessary when you guys are using this attack. Just think about it this way: you're doing an Electron kill squad, and then you're using the Suihiro to get even more value. It's like a Suihiro Lavaloon, but even better with an Electron kill squad. Again, it's up to you and exactly what value you're going to be getting and what you're going to be using. However, it's definitely a very strong option to be using in the current meta, especially since this is a very hard attack strategy to stop. Now remember, you want to use the Clone and Rage spell to try and take out as much as you can, usually using the Electro Dragons and the Loons to take out as much value as possible. This is mainly the Queen, Inferno, anything else that you can get really from the rest of the base. So that's definitely something to think about when you guys are using this attack strategy. Now the other thing is that as you're sending in your Lavaloon portion, keeping those haste spells to move into the base and then saving some on the inside is something that's really important to realize when you guys are using this attack. But don't forget, you guys are using 3+ hounds. Those are usually going to be tanking there for your Lalo going in. So you just really want to make sure that you guys understand that when you guys are using this attack strategy. And as far as the Yolo Trung goes, the Yolo Trung is going to get you even more value than just a plain old Electron. The Yolo Trung is going to get you maybe even a whole compartment, because you are bringing 4 Electro Dragons on one base. So you really want to make sure that you get a lot of value from those 4 Electro Dragons that you have in the entire attack going in. Once you've gotten a good chunk of the value with your Yolo Trung, then you can actually start sending in your Lavaloon. Usually you're going to be bringing less hounds here since you are bringing 60 camp space in terms of Electro Dragons, but other than that, you're going to start to go in and wreak havoc on different base designs as long as your Lavaloon goes in correctly and maybe even getting the Eagle, but that's not entirely necessary. Just remember, the Queen and CC are your main priorities no matter what Lalo you're doing. Even if you're doing a Sui Hero Lavaloon, you got have a plan to take out the Queen and CC. So that's something to keep in mind when you guys are using this attack. Now we're going to move into the last strategy we have for you guys, which is going to be the Queen Charge Lavaloon Attack Strategy. The last strategy we have here for you guys is the Queen Charge Lavaloon Attack Strategy. This strategy is pretty simple to learn, but definitely difficult to master. Now this strategy, you really want to use that Queen Charge to get the value that you're looking for. Queen, CC, and possibly even the Eagle if you can break your Queen into that compartment. It's usually a good idea to try, especially since you can get a lot of good value from just Queen charging into a specific base and getting some value. Now if the Eagle isn't close to the Queen or CC at all, then you really want to go ahead and actually carve out that path that will then allow your Lavaloon portion to take out the Eagle as it goes through. Now this attack has multiple different ways of using it. Usually you're either going to be using Jump, the Stone Slammer to break in, the Earthquake, or Wall Breakers. Now wall breakers are definitely iffy. If you are deciding to bring wall breakers, then you may want to use one test wall breaker to let it know to see if there are any small bombs, because if there is like a small bomb, then that will take out your group of wall breakers. So what you want to do is you want to use one test wall breaker in order to see if there's a small bomb there, and you just want to make sure that you take a look at that, because you never know where those traps are, and it could really spell danger if you're just relying on wall breakers to get you value. Now the next thing is that you guys can use Jump to get into the base. Usually when you use Jump, you're trying to get some sort of value, so you really want to make sure that you jump over more than one compartment. So you want to make sure that that Queen can get a lot of value, including the Queen and CC. Now the next thing that you guys can use is Earthquake. Earthquake is brand new and is really a good way to break into the base. It's a really good one, especially since at max level, it can break up to 10 tiles. So you want to try and take advantage of that when you guys are using this attack strategy. But another thing is that using the Stone Slammer itself is another good way of actually breaking into the base. The Stone Slammer's rocks, basically when they fall, they do something like an earthquake. Definitely smaller, but it's basically an earthquake. It will break walls in one shot. So you want to make sure that you take advantage of that if you guys are going to use the Stone Slammer itself to break into the base. Now, usually with this, you want to try and again get the Queen and CC if possible. But other than that, you just want to get as much value as you can as you start to move your Queen into the base. Also remember, you have rage spells. You're using those specifically to get the Queen into the base and also to heal up the queen faster, especially since there are some moments where that queen will be on yellow or even on red and you've got to use it, and you might even have to pop the queen's ability. So you really want to make sure that you keep that in mind when you guys are using this strategy. Another one that we've got to really mention is funneling the queen properly. Usually you're trying to funnel the queen in either with the Electro Dragon or a baby dragon, but don't use the king near the queen. Specifically, you don't want her to, or the healers to move on to the king. You want to make sure that the healers stay on the queen so that then the queen charge can continue to go through, as whatever you're using to go into the base will open it up for you and start to move in. So that's usually something to keep that in mind when you guys use this attack. Other than that, you should be able to get a good chunk of the value and also already create easy pathing for your Lavaloon portion. And once you've done that, you can send in your hounds, your groups of loons, just like how I said. You might even have a few rage spells left over from this to use on the Lavaloon portion, which is not bad. And then you want to use your Grand Warden's ability whenever it feels necessary. If you've already gotten the Eagle, then you may want to try and use it to sort of heal up or make all of those loons invincible, so that then they don't take damage from stuff like Expos or Wizard Towers or even other multi-infernos. So that's something to keep in mind when you guys are using this attack. Other than that, you should be able to clear through different base designs with this strategy and even the other strategies that I said within this video. So hopefully, if you guys did enjoy, why not leave a like and subscribe for more of my content. And also, if you guys do want to get better at your attacks, then also share this with your clanmates so that then they can become better attackers at Town Hall 11. Another thing is that if you guys want to go ahead and join my community Discord server, or even the Exit Humanity Family Discord or my community Discord, those links are going to be found in the description below, along with the link to my Twitter, so feel free to follow it there. And hopefully you guys did enjoy the video, and if you guys did, want to leave it, or yeah, I already said that, but if you guys did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.